Information is power.
All right, everybody, let's get ready to get started. I appreciate everybody here. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? This is the Information Man. I'm back at it again with another presentation, another video here. Remember, I talked about the situation in Chicago when you had the ICE raids, and a lot of people were feeling like, hey, you know, black people are not going to be impacted by this. Now, I told you that in that building, you had black Americans that were living in that building who unfortunately got caught up in the ICE raids because they were going after illegals, gang members, and what have you in this building in Chicago, Chi-Town. And there were black people that were mistreated that night. There were talks about kids being put in zip ties that night. A whole bunch of stuff that was talked about in Chicago that night. Right here in America, you've got black Americans in Chicago that were impacted by that. Well, there was one man in question who definitely was impacted by what happened that night in Chicago. His name is Luther. I want to put him up here, right here. There he is. This man was heavily impacted by what happened that night. He told his story to Don Lemon. I've never been a big fan of Don Lemon, but Don Lemon was in Chicago and interviewed Mr. Luther, who has lived in Chicago all of his life. Nothing but a man that he lives single, 66 years old. He is an American citizen, has lived there all his life. And he said that he got treated like an animal, that they herded him up onto a renter truck, that they're using renter trucks to throw people into like this. They rounded him up, threw him in the back of a truck, and he was under ICE custody for a total of 10 hours. These ICE went in there and they raided that building at 7500 Shore Drive in Chicago. I showed that video. The police got involved, and Donald Trump is putting military folks on the ground in America as if, you know, Americans are the enemy, right? So in this quest for ICE to go after the criminals that have snuck themselves over here in the country, illegals, people who don't have documentation, you've got Americans. Now you've got black Americans in Chicago. I'm not saying all, but certainly this brother right here, Luther, 66 years old, he's going to tell you his story. Don had a complete interview with him on the streets of Chicago that I want to show you. I'm going to repeat this again. This man was put on the back of a truck and driven to a detention center. He told them that he was a citizen, that he had been in Chicago all his life. They didn't want to hear him. They brought him into detention center, gave him a one-over with, you know, interrogating him. Who are you? Where you come from? And what have you? You know, basically locked him up like he was a criminal. And I told you this happened to black folks in Chicago, I believe, as a byproduct of the Democrats or the Democrats in Chicago who have not shown any sort of logical sense as it relates to getting rid of these illegals. Remember, it was Greg Abbott, as I said before on the previous video, who sent migrants up there. Chicago did not send them back because they are a sanctuary city. You had Ron DeSantis, let me make a correction here, who sent migrants to New York. They didn't use the best sense when black people told them they didn't want these folks in their community. Please get them out of here. They're cutting into our resources. You guys have not done well by black people in Chicago, and now you want to bring the migrants and add another problem to what we already have here. The politicians that run Chicago, the Democrats, did not listen to black people, and as a result, these people are living amongst black people in their community, and someone like Luther is a victim of the ICE raids. And Chicago, under Brandon Johnson, they could have easily removed these people out of there. So therefore, Brother Luther would not be a victim of what took place to him by these ICE agents. And these ICE agents are people that are being hired by Trump. They make up people like the Proud Boys, the Boogaloo Boys, a lot of white nationalist group. The training is not that great, but they're going into these communities military style, like you see right here. Okay. Taking no, they're not taking any answers. They're just grabbing people up, throwing them on renter trucks like this and pointing weapons at people just like this. So there's a lot going on around the country, but I don't appreciate when you have black people like Brother Luther, who's lived all his life, paid his taxes in the streets of Chicago, being treated like he's yesterday's news in Chicago, in a place we call America. America. I don't like it at all, everybody.
Tell the truth.
And so with that said, let me go ahead and let Don Lemon give you guys a breakdown in this interview. I want you guys to really pay attention to what this brother is saying about how he was treated by the ICE agents like he was an animal. I want to emphasize that as Don Lemon interviews him, this exclusive interview. I mean, they treated this man like an animal, interrogating him. And this is the original picture right here. And if you look at this picture in the back of it, you see those buildings, 7500 Shore Drive. That's the south side of Chicago, I believe, where that building, I believe he lived in that building that night, was raided. So let's get to it right now. I appreciate you all being here. This is the Information Man Show. Let's go to the first part of this interview with Don Lemon right here. Check this out, folks. Oh, before I get to this interview, let me play something that is a reminder to what I did in the last video about this issue in Chicago and the ICE raids, where you had this sister who I found on TikTok who said that black people, can we set this one out? ICE is not after us, right? They're not after black people. They're after the illegals. They're after the people that have taken over buildings. She said that those buildings in Chicago were already taken over by Latino gangs and hoodlums and things of that nature. And she said, why can't we just set this one out? Let me play this for you as I have this set up and ready to go. I just want y'all to hear what she had to say. Just as a reminder of where we're going at here. Check this out.
Black people, ICE is not after us. Can we for once sit something out? ICE is not after us. This land belongs to us. For once, can we just sit something out? Just one thing, just one thing. They are after illegals, okay? In that situation over in Chicago, that raid, that was because those Venezuelans, they took over that building like a long time ago. And yes, there were blacks that lived there, but ICE wasn't after blacks. They were after illegal immigrants, okay?
Now, she's right about the fact that they were after illegal immigrants, and those illegal immigrants that have a criminal background and some that were downright not documented. I think there were 37 people, but in the midst of that, where the sister has missed the beat right here, is that there were black people in this particular building in Chicago that were impacted by what ICE was doing that night. That cannot be denied, as you're about to hear an interview from Mr. Luther, 66 years old, how he felt about how he was treated that night. Let me go ahead and get to that right now with Don Lemon and let y'all hear. This is part one, and I want y'all to clearly listen to what the brother is saying. I'm going to have to stop it, make commentary every now and then. When you are using copyright material, you have to make it unique to your channel by giving commentary as you go along so that you can avoid getting hit with any type of copyright strike. So here we go.
I had to run in with ICE on Monday night, September 29th. I was at home minding my own business, and I heard a knock at the door. When I looked through the window, I could see people in uniform. They were wearing the green Army fatigue. They were wearing the green Army fatigue uniforms. When I answered the door, they come rush. They push their way in, and they asked me, "Is there anybody in here with you?" And I told them no. So they told me, they said, "We want you to come with us." And I'm like, "What for? You know, what is this all about?" And that's when they told me, they said, "Just shut up and come with us." Really? So at that point, I grabbed my backpack and I headed on out the door with them. When we got on the porch, they put my hands behind me. They put those plastic, not handcuffs, but
Zip ties.
the zip ties.
Now, remember, it was said that zip ties were used on some of the children that night. There's a video that was going around on TikTok of a baby being zip tied. Come to find out that that video was fake, meaning the father was an officer who was playing with his son. That was not a child that was zip tied that night. But there were people that got picked up by ICE that night, like Mr. Luther here, who said that they witnessed children being zip tied. You even had people saying that they witnessed them separating the Black Americans in one truck or separating them from the illegals. But my thing is, if you know these people, if you know the Black people that are there are not illegal, then why did you even have to throw them in back of some truck as if you're kidnapping him? This is how this man felt like he was being kidnapped, everybody. Let's continue.
They put those on me, and I could see my building is like two buildings, 7425 and 7431.
Okay.
And they had agents on my side and the other side. The other officers or agents were knocking on doors, and they were bringing people out. Once they got me outside, we came down the street to the corner, and when we got here, right on the corner, right on 75th and Coles, they had a lot of units, a lot of cars were out here. There was some press, members of the press out here. They had right about where that car is at, they had a budget renter truck.
Here we go.
Parked right over there.
Yeah.
And
Feel that.
Hey, did you know that SMUD is now paying Sacramento homeowners thousands of dollars upfront to put a backup battery? Hey, did you?
And
Excuse me there, everybody. I had to move it up a little bit. I thought I edited that out, but let's go.
they put me up into the truck. When I got in the truck, there were already about maybe 10 people already in the truck. And then they started bringing more people, and putting them in the truck. They had everybody in zip ties. We waited, we were in the truck for about, I'd say maybe 20, 25 minutes. And they sealed the truck up, and the truck pulled off.
You hear what he's saying? They sealed the truck up and the truck pulled off, everybody. This should have never happened. This is he's talking about, yeah, they got the illegals that night. They pulled the illegals out they got them out. Yes. Okay. But then Black Americans such as Mr. Luther here had to be a victim. And that to me is unacceptable. Let's continue.
Next thing I know, they're unloading us, and we were out at the facility in Broadview. We were out there, and they ushered us in.
I'm going to ask you about. I want to know what the conditions were like inside. But let's go back a little bit. When they knocked on your door,
Right.
and they told you to come out.
Right.
Did they tell you why?
No.
Did they ask you anything like who you are?
No. I tried to tell them because they had the word ICE on the back of their, on their back. So I knew who they were. And I asked them, why are you guys taking me? I'm a U.S. citizen. I'm not an illegal immigrant. And I was told to shut up and just follow instructions.
You hear that? They violated Mr. Luther's right. He is a United States citizen. This man has paid his dues, and they completely violated his right. ICE violated their rights of American citizens. The people that they're picking up who are not citizens, they technically don't have rights in this country. But you take a black man who you clearly know was not illegal. He's telling you, I'm a United States citizen. Why are you treating me like this? And they tell him to shut up. This is what's happening. So while we say black people are not the ones that ICE is targeting, black people are definitely becoming, in this case, in this situation in Chicago, this particular brother and those like him, in terms of black Americans, were impacted by the deeds of ICE that night. Let's continue.
And I did as I was told. When we got to the facility, I again tried to tell them, look, you got the wrong person. I'm a U.S. citizen. I'm not an illegal immigrant.
You see?
Again, I was told, shut up. I tried to tell.
Continued disrespect. You see, and see, this is why I believe Mr. Lewis was disrespected in the way that he was disrespected that night. It's very simple, everybody. We have to keep this in mind. We're talking about a black man, in this case, a black man who has lived in this country. He's dealt with racism. He's dealt with prejudice. And I said before that a lot of these ICE agents that they've been hiring, a lot of them have white supremacist backgrounds. And so even though they're going after the illegals, they're going to treat black people that they encounter poorly because of the type of individuals that are working for ICE. Let's continue.
Look, I've got everything in my backpack. My birth certificate, I got my ID, I got everything showing that I'm a U.S. citizen.
Why'd you have it in your backpack? Tell them.
Well, I had it in my backpack because I had some business to take care of with the Illinois Department of Public Aid. So my birth certificate and my Social Security card were in my backpack because I went there earlier in the day.
Right there. So ICE, he gave ICE complete identification. They knew he was a citizen. He had all this paperwork on him due to other reasons of health or whatever he had going on personally, but he had paperwork. So there was no need for this man to be held for 10 hours on that night and to be questioned and zip tied and put on the back of a bus or no, a truck that he had no idea where he was being taken that night. This should have never happened. I'm going to say it again. This should have never happened that night, ladies and gentlemen. Never, ever, ever should have happened to this brother that night. This is unacceptable as far as I'm concerned. Let's get back.
And if you hadn't gone there, you wouldn't have had that stuff with you.
No, if I hadn't gone there, I wouldn't have had it with me.
Right. And so,
but I do have an Illinois state ID card.
right.
And it's got the thing on there indicating a real ID.
So at no point did they allow you to show your birth certificate or any identification?
They didn't want to see nothing.
They didn't care.
They didn't care. They didn't want to see a thing.
So when I've heard people say they're not just rounding people up, they're getting identification. They're not being rough with people. What do you say?
They're saying that, they're lying. They're not checking IDs.
Now that's the narrative that the Republican clan has been putting out there under Donald Trump, that they're going after the illegals, they're going after the criminal illegals. And this brother said that they didn't care about his ID, they didn't care that he was able to prove that he was a citizen. He was still mistreated that night. And I'm going to say again, he was put, if I'm not mistaken, he told Don Lemon that night that they held him in their custody. I don't even know if that's the right word, because technically the ICE agents are the Border Patrol folks that are mixed up in this. They don't have arresting rights. But under the Trump administration now that we're living under, they can damn near do whatever they want. Damn what you say about your rights as an American citizen. So there are going to be some black people in the midst of this situation that are going to be, unfortunately, caught up, not because they wanted to be involved in it, because if they've got illegals living in their building, if you have politicians like in Detroit, like in Chicago, let me correct myself, Chicago to be exact, who are not willing to step up and get these folks out of here who came to Chicago, and y'all spent taxpayers' dollars on these folks. Now this brother is treated poorly, and then we have to deal with the fact that we have a white supremacist president who's allowing these boogaloo boys and all these white nationalists who support him, stock, lock, and barrel. He's giving them jobs to go after people, and in the process of that, they also are able to mess with black Americans. And this is what this really is. Let's just be honest about that.
Okay.
I had a conversation with a woman the other day. She said her dad had been deported several times, but they weren't roughing people up. They weren't taking them off the street without due process and without proper warrants.
No, that's not true. That's not true, because the building behind me was the building that they were targeting.
This building right here, the orange brick building?
Yeah. And I couldn't understand why they were at my building, because my building is not there. I'm a block over in the middle of the block. So I didn't see any reason for them to be bothering us.
They were just scooping people up randomly, you think?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. The brother said they were scooping people randomly. It did not matter in Chicago that night at that particular building if you were a citizen, although they did go after those illegals and arrest them and get them the hell out of here. But the problem is you got no business. They had no business treating American citizens in this way and treating black people that are citizens in Chicago, people who have paid their dues, and black Americans have built this country, paid their dues, been in the military, and to be treated like this in your own country, to be treated like this is a damn shame. This man should have never been treated like this that night.
And even people that were just hanging out here were all rounded up as well.
Okay. Let's go to the next clip right here. Let me play just a little bit of this and let's go.
Targeting Venezuelans, and none of the people that night even looked like you've got Hispanic. All we have is Hispanics and blacks. Okay. I know further down we've got some Africans, but other than that, no.
Now, let's be honest here. Chicago has always had a population of Latinos, particularly Puerto Ricans. But the brother, he said, Mr. Luther, 66-year-old Mr. Luther says, all we have is Hispanics and blacks, and then we have some Africans that live down the way. This is the problem. Yes, there are a lot of Hispanics there because some of them were the ones that were allowed to stay there under Brandon Johnson's administration, as I have said in the previous video. And they failed to get these folks out when black people were protesting and pleading with them to not let these people stay in their community. And that's why this brother, in my opinion, as I said in the other video, this is why he was a victim of this circumstance, unfortunately, because the Democrats didn't have enough sense to get these people out of this community, so that when someone like Trump comes along and wants to ratchet up the military, the National Guard and any damn thing else, the Marines, whatever else he wants to bring in here, that someone like Mr. Luther isn't a victim of someone like Donald Trump's policies. Let's get back at it.
What time was this?
This was close to 10:30, perhaps.
At night.
At night.
Yeah. So you were out here in the darkness doing with all this happening.
Yes.
So they didn't ask anybody who they picked up for identification. They
They were just rounding people up.
And what were people saying? You were in a van or a bus?
We were in the back of a moving truck.
Okay.
We were in
Moving truck.
Yeah.
Were there seats in there?
No, it's like the trucks that you use to load your furniture in.
Right, like
We
this
were
right
in
here.
one of those type trucks.
You see this right here? This is
It
what he's
was a
talking
budget
about.
rental truck.
So you had to stand up to get there?
Well, some people were able to sit down, but most of us stood up because there were, it was too many people for everybody to try and sit down.
What were you holding on to?
Each other.
Were you rumbling around in the back of the truck?
Yeah.
Anybody falling over?
No, we managed to maintain because with the amount of people that we had in the truck, if somebody was about to fall, you've got enough people to break that fall.
How many people?
I'd say we had about 40 or more people in that truck.
40 or more people in the back of a regular moving truck?
Did you hear what he said? Mr. Luther says that there was 40 or 50 people in the back of a moving truck as I was playing this moving truck right here. This is, in my opinion, as I'm talking about as it relates to American citizen like Mr. Luther, 66-year-old man, and other Black Americans that were treated like this that night. This should have never happened to them. That's what I'm saying. Okay? If people are here illegally, they have to be dealt with. But the American citizens, people who have paid their dues to be here, people that was born here in this country and naturalized citizens, people that are citizens have their paperwork, and those that are born here in a place like Chicago, this should have never happened. But I'm going to say it again. The Democrats allowing the migrants to stay in Chicago have indirectly contribute, in my opinion, to this circumstance.
Yeah.
You said it was you all?
No, it was from budget.
It was a budget.
A budget rental truck.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Did you ever think in America anything like this?
No. And that night, I understand. I heard about ICE, and this immigration thing, but I feel like you could look at me and tell that I'm not Hispanic. And with me being a U.S. citizen, I felt that I was fine. I didn't feel that I had anything to worry about. I felt sorry for a lot of the people who were getting scooped up, because I was under
Now, let me stop this right here. He said, looking at him, he thought that they would be able to tell that he was an American citizen. He felt that he would be all right that night. But that was not so. That was not the case that night. You see him walking up to Don Lemon right there. He said it was not that easy that night. It was not the reality that he experienced that night. This is unacceptable, y'all. Unacceptable.
That they were Latino or something like that, right? But you could look at me and see that I'm black. I don't care if you were black,
there
if
you
you
go,
were
right
dark-skinned, light-skinned, they were just scooping people up, period.
You think they were doing that to people they think didn't have the resources to fight back?
That I couldn't say.
Wow.
That I couldn't say. But I never thought for one moment that what happened could have happened to me. Because I'm like, okay, I don't.
You hear what this brother just said, everybody? He said that he never thought that what happened to him that night, whatever happened to him, because once again, we feel comfortable in the fact as Black Americans that we are citizens. We paid our dues. We live in a city like Chicago, which for the most part is a very heavy Black city. A lot of Black folks there. Black Panther Party was there with Fred Hampton. I mean, Chicago has a lot of history. Chicago is one of the #1 cities in the country, a very diverse city with a lot of different people there that live there. But Brother Luther was treated like he was garbage. And he's being held by weapons, by these guys having weapons in their hands like this. And literally, this man was literally kidnapped. And that's what else can we call it? You are an American citizen. You're being unlawfully attained and grabbed up and thrown on not buses, but trucks. No, you are being kidnapped that night. I mean, this man was being treated like he was back in slavery again, for lack of a better word.
What they're looking for. So why would I have anything to worry?
Mm-hmm.
So when you got to the facility, did they take your back? You didn't have your backpack in the back of the truck, right? They took that?
No, I had the backpack.
With you in the truck?
Well, they took the backpack and they took my phone because I tried to, I wanted to record what was going on when they first grabbed me, and that's when they took my phone.
Boom. Let's stop it right there. Why would they take his phone? It's pretty obvious. They didn't want him to be able to record the violations to his rights as a citizen in this country. They didn't want him to be able to later on get them on camera, because Mr. Luther says that he is going to take this to court. He is going to sue these ICE agents for the violation of his rights as an American citizen in this place we call America, on this God's green earth in Chicago, Illinois. Let's get back to it.
When before they let us go, they were holding up like your phone and stuff and asking anybody, whose phone is this? Whose phone is this? And people were, we were trying to, if we recognized our phone, we were able to get them. But they only did that as we were about to exit the facility.
Interesting. As they're about to exit the facility,
they said when they let us go, no paperwork, nothing. All they said is, okay, you can go.
A fishing expedition.
Yeah.
They didn't care. They were just looking for, maybe they would catch something that would.
That's what it seems like to me.
So how long were you there? Well, tell me, I told you we were going to get back to. So you get there with all of these people. They take you inside the facility. What happens?
We were in like, I want to say like a dorm, because it was a large room, extremely large room. We had a toilet, we had a sink.
One for everybody in there. How many people?
Yeah. I'd say there could have been like 60 or more people in there.
So whatever business you needed to do had to be done in the open.
Yeah. Yeah. To me, now I have been at Cook County Jail before.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, this situation, the whole thing, I'm going to stop it there. I think you all get the gist and the point of this video. Let me just do one more thing. There's another piece to this. I'm just going to play only a little bit of this. There's another piece. Let's see. I played a little bit of part 1, a little bit of part 3. Let me just play just a little bit of this right here.
Or let them come to your state, your city, your neighborhood, and do to your area what they're doing here to us.
So basically, Mr. Luther, you heard him say that right there. He's basically saying that the things that he experienced that night, how he was mistreated, his rights were violated, that if the ICE agents were to come to your neck of the woods, you would not appreciate, especially if you are a Black American citizen, or how he was treated that night. You wouldn't like it. You would have some disposition about it.
That's what I want.
Why do you want it?
Because some of the people, there was a guy who I saw on TV when they were filming the protests about ICE being in Broadview, and the guy, he's got on the red cap, the Trump cap, talking about, yeah, I'm all for it. I applaud what Trump is doing. And when I heard him make that statement, the thought that went through my mind is, yeah, you want it because it's not your area. It's not your neighborhood, your city that's being invaded.
Now, let me make this point because Mr. Luther makes a very good point here. You see, a lot of people that voted for Donald Trump who felt that, hey, we want the migrants out of here, we want illegals out of here. Look, I understand that. If you have people that are here illegally, they didn't come here the right way. It's not right to the people who did come here the right way, right? But a lot of people who voted for Trump, particularly white folks, because you had white men that voted for Trump at 59%, white women around 54 or so percent, Latino men, which was a big surprise, voted for Donald Trump around that 34, 35 or 34%. Black men made up 21% of the, and people had their various reasons why they voted for Donald Trump, whether you agree with Donald Trump or not. I don't like Donald Trump. I think he's a flat out racist. He has a long history of housing discrimination in New York. Him and his father were deeply involved in it. But I think what happened is that some people who voted for Trump felt that it's, as long as it affects these people over here and it doesn't affect me, I'm cool with it. You see, and I think that's what Mr. Luther is getting at right there. Let's continue.
But then, don't you think it's not over here? They're going to go other places?
Well, I talked to my brother last night. He lives in Wheeling, and he was telling me that they've been out there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not just in Illinois. I mean, all over. I think this is going to start happening in more places across the country.
Any blue state, what they call it, any Democratic state, if you got a Democrat governor, if you got all of the, like what, this is Illinois, we're considered a blue state.
You got a Democratic governor, Democratic mayor.
So
Right.
because Chicago has a lot of blacks. We've got a mixture as far as politics. We got a mixture of color there. We got some whites in there, but right now, we as Democrats, we're being targeted.
What would you say to Donald Trump? What do you want him to know?
Ain't nothing I can say to that man. There's nothing I can say to him. You know, the main thing that I do at this point moving forward, I keep praying every day for God to step in or show us that he's got it in control.
All right there. So I just want to end it there. Thank you for watching. This podcast is the Information Man Show. Hey, go ahead and comment, give your opinions about what you feel about Mr. Luther and what he had to say. Did you agree with him, disagree with him? Look, let's just keep it real. This man lives in Chicago. He's 66 years old. He lives by himself. He was treated poorly. They came knocking at his door. The ICE came knocking at his door. He didn't appreciate it that night. He said it was lots of cars out there, flashing lights like that. And he didn't appreciate that. Obviously, he doesn't like Trump. What is your opinion? Give me your honest opinion. about what you think about what he had to say. And I'm just saying there are going to be some isolated situations, maybe non-isolated situations where there are going to be some Black Americans that are impacted. And certainly that night, someone like Mr. Luther and many other Black people that were living in that building that night were impacted. I wanted to do this video because, of course, people are going to say, well, where's your proof? Who said anything happened to them? Well, this is an example, Exhibit A, of a Black man who was harassed in that whole process. Just want y'all to understand that. So with that said, everybody, I want to thank you for coming over to the channel, watching. Make sure you share this video on all your social media. Thank you for watching. Make a like, comment on a video, subscribe to the channel. We really appreciate it. And we'll be back with more presentation. This is Information Man. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Peace. We're out of here, and tell somebody that you love them. Peace.
Information
All right
is
now.
power.
Peace. All right, everybody, take care.
Tell the truth.
Information is power. You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his